Automation in the global protective coatings industry improves productivity, consistency, quality, cost savings, and is a direct result of reduced workforce and availability of qualified skilled craft workers. On this episode of Coatings Talk, I'll cover steel surface preparation utilizing robotic technologies and how the use of automation for steel surface preparation can be a benefit to asset owners and industrial painting contractors. Welcome to Coatings Talk. My name is Jim Kunkel, and I'm a certified protective coating specialist with over 15 years of technical and professional experience in the global protective coatings industry. The primary focus of Coatings Talk is to bring you the latest content on the practical, technical, and science of protective coatings. I'll also be covering coatings industry conferences, events, and interviews of industry leaders. If you are working in or supporting the protective coatings industry, it's important to tune into Coatings Talk to hear the latest and best practices, technologies, and solutions that will benefit your professional career within the global protective coatings industry. Before we start this episode, let me talk to you about today's sponsor. CoffeeBrandCoffee.com offers top quality coffee and tea from the best global growers. You can support Coatings Talk and enjoy premium coffee, tea, cocoa, and more by just purchasing from CoffeeBrandCoffee.com. Please use the special website link listed with this broadcast. Crawling robotics for steel surface preparation are on the rise as the global protective coatings industry has been experiencing a decline in many countries of qualified craft workers who can properly perform steel surface preparation of infrastructure and major assets. Post-pandemic, the protective coatings industry is now in a transformative time for the use of robotics to not only perform surface preparation, but also the installation of protective coating systems. This episode's interview is with Joey Winolst, implementation specialist with Verdi Drive. Verdi Drive's global headquarters is in the Netherlands, and since 2008, Verdi Drive has become a leading innovative company in the design of robotic crawler solutions used for surface cleaning and surface preparation. Joey and I will have a conversation only on robotic steel crawlers. Robotic technologies for surface preparation is also available for blast and paint shops and specialty applications like interior surface preparation of pipe. With robotics for surface preparation system configurations covering water blasting for cleaning or ultra-high pressure water blasting, or UHP as it's called in the industry, which removes surface contaminants such as paint, scale, and rust. Additionally, abrasives can be mixed into UHP water blasting for surface preparation to open up an existing steel profile or to create the first proper profile on the steel prior to coating system installation. Dry abrasive blasting is another configuration for robotic surface preparation. Abrasives will remove most of unwanted contaminants, but also will affect a small percentage of the steel itself. Okay, here's my interview with Joey Winolst, implementation specialist at Verdi Drive. Hey, Joey, welcome to the episode.
Hi, Jim. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. Before we get into a conversation about robotic technologies when it comes to surface preparation, Verdi Drive, could you explain the genesis and the long history of development and innovation that Verdi Drive's taken when it comes to robotic technologies?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we started already in the year 2008. Well, I mean that's the year that the company got founded. But before the company was even founded, the founder of Verdi Drive already started developing a lot of the technologies and you still see it in the models we have nowadays before he even started. And I mean, especially back then, the surface preparation business, everything was done manually. He saw people working at incredible heights and struggling while UHP blasting, while abrasive blasting, the thrust reaction force. It was really wearing people out, putting people in danger. And that's where the idea came from, to automate these kinds of surface preparation. So that's when Verdi Drive started. And yeah, we started in a garage box, and now we're at a historical building in the Rotterdam Makers District.
And with the technology, there's been so many years of innovation that's gone into it, and also you're taking real life experience and application operation and refining engineering. How important is it for Verdi Drive as a leader in this type of technology to continuously improve on the engineering and then also too on the products themselves?
Yeah, well, it's incredibly important, of course. I mean, staying at the same place basically means that you're going backwards, especially in these days when the developments are very, very rapidly. So, yeah, we are always developing, and we do that with a lot of feedback from our users, from our customers in the field, of course, but also we have a view for the future. And that view for the future, most customers don't even think about it yet. So yeah, basically two main things that provides us from input where we want to go to. And it starts with semi-automated, autonomous, full autonomous, etc., etc.
So if we
That's
could
where I'm working to.
Okay. So if we could go through some of the models, the first model that I became very familiar and I've seen in operation is the M2. What does the M2? What does it do in the field?
Well, that's a perfect example of how we started as well. I mean, the M2 is basically like an old vacuum cleaner you had at home. You hold the handle, the big thing, and just push it around on the floor. This one is a little bit more advanced, of course. I mean, it can handle UHP 3000 bar, and it has a motor in it, so you don't have to push it around, but it can drive by just pushing a joystick. But it's still basically a handheld device which you need to steer around. So that means in this one, it's still commonly used, very commonly used on smaller surfaces, for example. Then you can think of offshore rigs with a lot of pipelines, small gangways and all. You can perfectly use the M2 on that, especially since it also is suitable for a vacuum attachment. So you have basically no waste on the job site. And second of all, most crawlers are actually made for the larger surfaces. And this is one that's made for smaller surfaces. So I was talking about an offshore rig, but if we are talking about storage tanks, for example, we got the huge crude oil storage tanks, which has a lot of pipelines on the inside to keep the oil warm, of course. Tight spaces there as well. Perfect for an M2. If we're talking about a shipyard, also those huge ships, 400 meters in length, inside the dry dock, they are all standing on those huge blocks, and in between the blocks, yeah, sometimes there's 2-3 meters, but sometimes there's also only 50 centimeters or 1 feet, 1.5 feet. And then the M2, also because it's magnetic, of course, is perfect over there. You can use it upside down, vacuum attachment, and yeah, so it's the oldest one, but still commonly used. Very practical.
Yeah, I think what's very unique about the M2 is that the use and the application of it in the field, in the shipyards, and other type of infrastructure uses, you learn so much as a company, and then from that, Verdi Drive improved, and you have M3 all the way up to an M8. Could you go through some of the differences between the M3, M4, 7, and 8?
Yeah, of course. Well, the biggest difference from all of those models compared to the M2 is that they can be remotely controlled. So either it's an electric crawler and you steer it by meaning of a joystick. We also got pneumatic ATEX explosive proof ones that are powered by air and that have a small control box. And the biggest difference is remotely controlled. So getting the operator out of harm's way, out of the way of UHP or the stream of abrasives, which is also very dangerous, of course. So first of all, a safer environment for your workers. Um, the magnets we use absorb all the energy, so that means you don't, get tired that fast. And if I look at the M3, for example, we use a swinging arm over there. So that means that we have an arm that moves left and right in front of that crawler. It means we're cleaning in front of the crawler, but that's open blasting. Then if we compare that to the M4 model we have, that's one with a vacuum attachment. So yes, it's only for UHP, not for abrasive blasting, but it has a width of 39 centimeters. So 39 centimeters of cleaning, up to 16 nozzles with a vacuum attachment on there. So that's perfect for the larger surfaces like oil storage tanks and ships to clean and remove paint by means of ultra high pressure and also using a vacuum system. So that's M3 and M4, and basically those are our second generations. So if we look at an M7 and an M8, we go a little bit further in that, because an M7 also uses an arm like the M3, so it swings left and right. But besides that, you can also move the arm up and down. So that means that obstacles and curvatures, for example, are less of a problem because the arm has a multiple directional movement. Besides the arm, a crawler like the M7 has such a small footprint that the minimum radius you can use it on is only 2.5 meters. And compared to the other ones, that's a huge benefit. Also remotely controlled, of course, just a small handheld controller. Just push the joystick and you'll be able to drive it around all day. Then the M8, for now, that's our most advanced one, and we have the most advanced one we have out there in the field. And the M8 we made specifically for cargo hold cleaning. So it's not suitable for UHP, for high pressure only, but that one is a lot more advanced than anything else that's out there in the field than we've ever made. And that goes from also a multi-directional arm, left, right, up and down, but also your nozzles you can rotate. So that means that if I'm driving in between two stiffeners, for example, on the inside of a cargo hold, then I clean on top of it, the side of it, I go down and it goes up to the top again, over and over again. And you can easily program that movement. So once you've set it, that's all you need to do. And of course, the thing that occurs then is that, but I need to stay exactly in the middle, in between my two stiffeners. Otherwise, my programming won't work. And that's correct. You have to stay exactly in the middle of those two stiffeners. But you don't have to do that yourself. That's built in the crawler as well. It's kind of a lane assist when driving your car, only it's an automatic lane assist. So it steers itself exactly in the middle of those two stiffeners. And that makes it, very intuitive. Also, just drive it forward and it will do the rest all by itself once you set the programs. It's also the only one that can drive through angles, because inside cargo holds, it's very hard to get a crawler off a surface and place it somewhere else, especially if you have that corrugated bulkheads at the top. You don't want to go up there to place the crawler again. So what did we do? We had special magnet configurations so it can just drive through that corners. And from horizontal on the ground, it can drive all the way up to overhead.
So let's talk about some of the industries that are served with this type of crawler technology, and also too the advantages collectively for these industries. You had just really kind of covered the marine when we were talking about ship and also cargo cleaning and things like that. But also too offshore. You had mentioned offshore, and then tank storage is another on the exterior, and then I would say with the cleaning opportunities on the interior is if you're cleaning a cargo, it's going to be the same, a cargo hold. It's also like cleaning the inside of a tank as well. What are some of the advantages for an owner and a contractor who's looking at utilizing robotic technology for surface preparation or even cleaning as well?
Yeah. Well, if you look at an asset owner, if we're talking about tank storage, for example, every day that the tank is down will cost them a lot of money. That's for sure. We all know that. So you minimize the downtime of a tank. And if that's 4, 5 days, or maybe even 1 or 2 weeks, depending on the size of the tank, of course, that's a huge amount of money. And for a contractor that uses equipment like our robotic equipment to do such kind of jobs, that means that, the job is done a lot faster. And what we've seen in the field is that asset owners are definitely willing to pay a contractor more money to finish the job earlier, because at the end, they make a lot more money by saving on the downtime of that tank. And besides that, the big problem we have nowadays after COVID as well is that they still focus on minimizing the amount of people in the workplace. So you can have 8 guys inside a tank on scaffolds, on ladders, on a cherry picker doing the cleaning. Or you can have 2 crawlers with 2 operators standing on the ground, holding a remote. I mean, you save on manpower, costs of manpower and all. But also, other arguments are having less people on the job site, a lot safer, of course. So those are huge benefits if you look at using our equipment in such situations. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if you bring to bear, multiple crawlers, and you rotate the crews that are running, you can literally go 24 hours, be able to accomplish the task at hand. Again, if you're cleaning or you're prepping, the faster you can do that. The other thing too with robotic technologies, based off, the research that I've done, is that you get consistency. And then the other thing is you get some efficiencies as well. With humans, we tend to have cycles where we're right on the money, and then we might have times where we're not. So consistency can be very varied based on the abrasive blaster's experience and skill set as a blaster. But with robotics, once it's programmed in, it's following and executing on that command. And it just really comes down to the operator making sure that materials are going through to be able to do the surface prep, that the person running the controllers is monitoring the run of the equipment itself. But there's so many things associated with saving money. And then the other thing is the global industry. When we're looking at protective coatings, we're currently in a manpower crunch. We cannot find enough men and women to work in these roles. And so now the use of robotic technologies really comes into play. And safety is a big thing. If you're talking about confined spaces, and earlier you mentioned about erecting in some of these storage tanks, you might end up erect scaffolding, or you might cut out a section and bring in a cherry picker to be able to go in and do some of the work as well. So again, safety becomes a big issue as well. So when we talk about the typical utilization of Verdi Drive technology and with the multi-purpose use, the first thing we talk about is the surface preparation. And you had mentioned it could be abrasive blasting or ultra high pressure water.
Correct.
typically when you're looking at those applications, do you have one device that can handle both? Do either or?
Yeah, we do. Well, if we talk about surface preparation or cleaning, also with a vacuum attachment, then we only have HP or UHP, so water as a media to use with vacuum. But if we look at the M3 or the M7, for example, the one with the arm I was talking about earlier, we have several applications for a single crawler. So basically, we see the crawler as a carrier for different applications. And that can be a high pressure application with up to 3 rotating nozzles, UHP, 8 UHP nozzles, or abrasive blasting. And so that means that for different types of media, water or abrasives, our crawlers can be used. Yeah. And depending on the media that you use for abrasive blasting, that doesn't matter as long as it's not metal abrasive, because of the permanent magnets we use, of course. That's not suitable for it, but most abrasives are non-metal abrasives.
So again, you don't have to reveal any top secret company information, but are there any future planning by Verdi Drive when it comes to coating application using robotic technologies?
Yeah. Well, we've talked about us innovating, of course, and jumping into get the market. That comes together with innovating. We are always learning, and that goes from us as a crawler manufacturer also being able to advise you on your complete setup for UHP or abrasive, because if your backbone is not right, then the application, our crawler, will not work 100% either. And so that means jumping into the gap of coding. So yes, we are working on a coding crawler. A crawler that can code very, very fast, holds up to 4 or 5 spray tips for painting, and just drives over the surface of a storage tank, for example, like a race car, so fast. So that's under development. I can't tell you a launch date yet. But follow us and you will get to know for sure. Yeah.
That's great. And for everyone with the episode, I will make sure that in the episode information, I have links for Verdi Drive and also for informational content regarding their products, their technologies, innovations, and also how to contact representation from the global side. You guys are definitely a global company and you have contacts all over. Joey, what a great conversation we had regarding robotic technologies when it comes to surface preparation, and also too talking about what Verdi Drive does offer. Automated surface preparation systems manufactured for the global protective coatings industry are becoming more cost justified and practical in use. When incorporated with craftworker surface preparation operations, industrial painting contractors who incorporate automated surface preparation on steel projects have the opportunity to potentially expand their business, and on many projects conduct steel surface preparation with a balance of automation and craftworker effort. Please tell me your thoughts on this topic of automated surface preparation systems. You can email me at jim@jimkunkel.com. Again, jim@jimkunkel.com. Have any recommendations on topics or special industry guests that should be featured on Coatings Talk? Well, if you do, please just email me at jim@jimkunkel.com. Okay, that's a wrap for this episode of Coatings Talk. Make sure that you're subscribed to Coatings Talk and you have your notifications set so that you won't miss any new episodes.